Papa D, coming to you from David's den here at David Delivers Space. And we're going to be coming into the launch of the Firefly Aerospace Fly the Lightning that is taking off from Vandenberg Air Force Base today. They are sending up a payload for Lockheed Martin for their electronically steerable antenna ESA network. It's a demo mission, and we're coming in a little bit late to the feed, only because of some technical issues initially, but we're going to switch over here shortly. Looks like this is being worked on in collaboration with NASA Spaceflight, which is awesome. Group of guys. But the feed is coming from Firefly Aerospace. And there's the feed. Looks like we are coming up on short order T0. Just under 35 minutes.
That may have happened.
Yeah, so we did just a test of the deluge system.
Right.
So on the pad, there's a lot of fire coming out of the bottom of the rocket, and so there are, you want to suppress any of those fires, and so we have all this water that's coming out of the pad,
right?
And it seems like that's going to be there for fires, and really what it's there for is actually sound,
like dealing with the sound energy.
With the sound, yeah. You can imagine as the rocket leaves the pad, that plume that's coming out of the bottom of the rocket is just creating a wall of sound.
Right.
It's if you don't have that deluge, it'll hit the ground, bounce back up, and just rattle the rocket apart.
Shake the rocket. It's reflecting off the pad and shaking the rocket.
Yeah, which would mean that you'd have to qualify everything in the rocket to just this ridiculous noise level that it would be very hard.
Right.
So what we do instead is we just flood the pad with water. There's droplets everywhere. The speed of sound in water is different.
Yep.
So as that wall of sound hits that, it decoheres. It goes in all different directions. And then whatever gets back up, it also loses energy in the water.
Yep.
Whatever gets back up to the rocket is way lower energy and just doesn't
effectively mitigated. Whatever reaches the rocket is mitigated.
We're kind of pulling like a curtain in front of the rocket as it leaves the ground.
And it's not just about, it's not a solid body of water. The water is sort of in droplet format. It's spread out, and so there's tons. Think about it. There's tons of interfaces. It goes from air to a water droplet to air to a water droplet, and every time it's going through that interface, I guess you could say, it's changing the direction. It's dealing with some of the energy. It's making sure the sound isn't shaking the rocket to pieces as it goes off the pad.
Exactly.
All right. And then coming up here, where are we? 30 seconds from T-minus 30 minutes. What's going to happen at T-minus 30 minutes?
We should be able to see this on the stream. The second stage engine is going to start pre-chilling. So there's two, again, same way as the vent up there for the tank. There's two outlets that are coming out of the kind of the lower part of the second stage.
Right.
What we're doing there is we're pulling LOX, liquid oxygen, through the engine, and we're chilling in the LOX pump. So if you don't have your pump really cold when you try to start your engine,
right.
When it starts to spin, instead of pulling LOX through it,
liquid
LOX. Instead of pulling that liquid through it, it will just flash that into gas, and it'll just sit there spinning.
It's like cavitate?
It's cavitate.
It literally cavitates. So when we talk about engine pre-chill, we're chilling the engine down to a proper operating temperature, so you're not surprising it or trying to get it to operate in a temperature it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the sort of secret sauce of rocket engine operation is that you just make sure that always the conditions that the engine is getting are exactly what you thought you were going to get. So then you can test it and make sure it's going to work.
Gotcha. All right. And again, folks, we may be able to see a little bit of that. Again, the venting that you see on the screen and stuff like that, that's all intentional. Loxygen. I'm not supposed to say. It's LOX. Loxygen. Liquid oxygen or LOX is boiling off. You're maintaining those pressures. You're purging things. All these are nominal things that we're seeing on the screen right here now. So we are continuing to stand by for the flight. It's Flight 4 of Alpha Rocket, Firefly's Alpha Rocket here. Just got a little bit of a range weather update in my ear, and they just told me that the range is green, or the weather is green currently.
Yeah. So we on 2 days ago, we scrubbed for weather. That was a compounding set of factors. About the worst weather you can have in Vandenberg.
Yep. I was surprised. I was told it was beautiful in California, and I show up and I'm like, it's raining. What's happening?
we had both very thick cloud cover. We had lightning coming towards the pad,
right?
And we had high upper level winds. So it was just like boom, boom, boom. Everything is terrible. We still fought through a ton of that, and in fact, also the weather was terrible the next day as well. So we were fighting through that for operations on the ground, just getting ready for today.
Even we were out there dealing with cameras, and we were getting poured on Thursday there. So, folks, remember, we've talked about a couple different things. Weather is currently green, it sounds like. How do we get the weather for the launch pad? We don't just go to our weather app on our phone and say, what are the upper level winds? It's actually Vandenberg Space Launch Delta 30 that supports the West Coast launch activities here for Department of Defense and NASA and commercial missions like this one here. They've been doing a ton of work to enable these responsive space missions. We've got a little bit of information here from Colonel Mark Shoemaker, who is the commander of Vandenberg Space Force Base. So let's go ahead and listen into what he has to say.
This is a special time of year for Guardians and Airmen at Vandenberg Space Force Base. We're celebrating the 4th anniversary of the United States Space Force, and with that, celebrating our Guardians and Airmen who make all of our installation's missions happen each day. In the last 4 years, we have witnessed remarkable growth and transformation at Vandenberg as an agile power projection platform for space operations. If you've had the privilege of visiting our amazing base or being a part of our mission, you've had the unique opportunity to witness high-level, critically important national security missions unfold on the backdrop of our pristine coastline. More than 2,000 missions have launched off of our 118,000-acre base since 1958, a testament to the commitment of our Guardians and Airmen in advancing space and strategic deterrent capabilities. We're not stopping there. What was once a monthly launch cadence has become closer to a weekly event, a significant evolution that underscores our dedication to the rapid response needs of space operations. The next 2,000 launches will likely happen in less than half the time it took for the first 2,000. And to meet that demand signal, we're growing our capacity, our agility, our resilience, and responsiveness to meet the nation's needs head-on and surpass all expectations. And it's that last quality of responsiveness that I want to talk more about today. Space capabilities empower the world, our nation, and our entire joint force. And our commercial partners deliver many of these capabilities, playing a vital role in achieving our nation's strategic objectives in space. And so it's vital that we responsibly support our spaceport partners to assure resilient U.S. Space Force spaceport capabilities to launch and deploy national security missions on short notice. We take great pride in our U.S. Space Force in the to-space part of the mission, and we must continue to be more responsive, remove obstacles at every opportunity, shift launches earlier, approve launch attempts on very short notice, as we demonstrated in support of our U.S. Space Force Victus Nox launch on September 14th this year. And all of this is to enable simultaneous launch operations and countdowns, delivering the spaceport of the future that the nation needs. It's my pleasure to lead the Space Launch Delta 30 team who makes launches from Vandenberg possible. We will continue to foster a culture of innovation and collaboration, pushing the boundaries of what is possible, advancing space capabilities through strong partnerships, and securing the future of space operations together.
And that was an awesome piece from the Commander Space Force out of Vandenberg. We thank them for everything they do every day. And we appreciate the sacrifice they and their families make for us. When the holidays come around and we're racing around trying to get presents under the tree and dinner's ready and all that, those men and women are hard at work protecting our country and our interests. And what they do for the space industry is absolutely amazing. Everything from flight facilities, as you heard earlier from NASA Space. There we go. Lost audio for a second. Sorry about that. But we appreciate everything they did. It looks like right now the weather's good out at Vandenberg, and cut my monitors back a little bit here. And we are looking at a launch at, I think we were about T30 if not mistaken. Yeah. When you got all the buttons. So we're at T0 at about 25 minutes. But everything's looking good. Looks like we've continued to have LOX load. What you see there is venting right now. Everything's normal. And we're on the launch pad just waiting to get down to T0 and hopefully see a good launch today. Want to thank in advance also the folks at Firefly Aerospace for allowing this broadcast, and to the folks at NASA Spaceflight, who I can't speak of highly enough. They do an awesome job bringing to us so much footage, so much science, helping us all make sense of this new age we're in. And I do appreciate everything they do. I was, have to admit, I was caught off guard when I went to the Firefly Aerospace page and saw that the commentary work and the collaboration with NASA Spaceflight. So good to see. And again, if you haven't subscribed to their page, go out there and do it. Right now, they are monitoring and making available so many feeds for everyone. And I appreciate everything they do at helping us out, us as a family, as a group. Okay, there you go. Looks like right now we are still got the tank farm going, and don't see anything as far as whether there's an abort or not. Apparently out of Boca Chica there's unknown road closure. There's no overpressure notice out. So indications would be that possibly there will not be a static fire today of Booster 10. But we'll keep an eye on that. If that certainly happens, we will let you all know. All right, we are still holding. And we're okay. Still looking good. About 20 minutes to T0. Just want to say I don't know if he'll hear this. I hope to get a chance to talk to these guys one day. But John, you're doing an awesome job for us as a family. As a great shot they're providing in collaboration with Firefly Aerospace. And there is mission control right now. And it looks like we're coming up green across the board. They're doing their poll. And that looks awesome. We're seeing all green across the polling board. So they are about 19 minutes away from T0, we hope. And the launch of the Lockheed Martin payload, the electronically steerable antenna array, not array, but the demo mission. And this mission, as you've seen, is flying. It's been named Fly the Lightning. So I'm going to be standing by for just a bit, and we will listen to a little bit of the feed.
waiting time? Like, is that like a, oh, it's really happening now?
Yes. The time between saying go and then the rocket leaving the ground is 20 minutes, but it feels like 20 seconds.
It's 18 and a half minutes now, actually.
It's very fast.
Time just feels like it evaporates here.
You just become one with the plots, and
all I see is go, 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 go. Like, all right. So, folks, if you're just joining us, you're watching Firefly Aerospace's official broadcast. We're coming up on Flight 4 here. This is an Alpha rocket launching a payload for Lockheed Martin. And in fact, we've actually got a couple words coming up from Lockheed Martin. Let's go ahead and listen in on this to hear what they have to say.
Hi, I'm Robert Lightfoot, Executive Vice President of Lockheed Martin Space. I couldn't join you in person for the launch today, but know I'm watching and I appreciate the opportunity to share a few thoughts about this exciting and historic event. First, I want to thank Firefly Aerospace. Not only are we launching a technology demonstration today, but we're also sharing a strong collaboration between Lockheed Martin and Firefly Aerospace. We appreciate their drive to provide reliable space access, which is critical not only for the entire space industry, but also allows us to test our capabilities with greater urgency to be able to deliver new solutions. In a little while, a Firefly Alpha rocket is scheduled to launch our first self-funded and self-developed payload, critical for proving out new on-orbit capabilities faster than ever before. Developing new systems like these are extremely important to our customers and help to keep our nation and warfighters safe. Today's launch is also important in another way. The space industry is one in which you cannot go it alone. We share a lot of similarities with early entrants like Firefly, and we are proud to work with them and other emerging providers because it takes a variety of innovations, capabilities, and people to ensure we are all successful. Together, we will ensure a resilient launch environment and assure access to space for all important missions. Thank you to the entire team supporting this Fly the Lightning launch. We're looking forward to the ride. Let's go for launch.
Folks, things are going to start happening really quickly here as we are currently 16 minutes and 22 seconds away from the target T0. Now, what's going to happen is we've got one more bit from Firefly, I think, to share some words right before the launch, and then we're going to hop right into that auto sequence and explain what's happening on the rocket. That's why we've got the rocket engineer with it. Rocket scientist, rocket engineer? Either way, let's listen into Firefly Aerospace real quick.
Hey guys, Bill Weber here, CEO of Firefly. We're just about to launch our Alpha rocket, so I'm going to keep this short. I want to give a quick shout out to our incredible team of Fireflies. As we continue through this countdown, I want all of you watching with us to understand what it took to get here today. Our team of Fireflies are the most hardworking and passionate people that you're going to find in this industry. It's their relentless dedication, innovation, and grit that got us to this very moment, and I want to thank them for their incredible commitment to making our customers successful. This Fly the Lightning mission for Lockheed Martin has served as yet another opportunity for our team to continue practicing and advancing our responsive space capabilities. Leading up to the mission, the team further rehearsed our standard launch operations. We focused on improving efficiencies, cutting out unnecessary steps, and moving faster to ready payloads and our rocket for liftoff. Firefly's goal is to ultimately become the go-to responsive space provider for both government and commercial customers. In fact, along with Lockheed Martin, we have members from the Space Force's Tactically Responsive Space Team here with us today observing this mission. Together with our partners, we aim to transform rapid response into a repeatable capability, not only for launch, but for all of our missions across cislunar space. In other words, we're just getting started. Go Firefly, go fly the lightning.
I like it. Go fly the lightning. And we are now less than 15 minutes away. The time just evaporates as we get this close in the count. Important things just happened while we're looking at that video. I think we're into the terminal. You know what it is.
Yeah, so we should be in what's called terminal count now. At about T-minus 15 minutes, we hand over control to our ground system.
Right.
So the operators that have been clicking buttons all day today, they basically are not going to click anything for the next 15 minutes.
They just run this. I say run the script.
Yeah,
but,
they run this auto sequence. The auto sequence is very complicated, and it's calling other auto sequences. It's performing actions. right now. It's basically timed that 15 minutes on the engine chill. So you can see that little fog that's coming out of the bottom of the engines there.
Yeah, from the engine cam?
Yes, that is LOX that is blowing through these first stage LOX pumps. So we time this. It basically takes 15 minutes to chill in those pumps, so that's when terminal count starts.
Hey, by the way, on the engine cams real quick, when we were we have a lot of cameras for the broadcast, and we were choosing cameras, we saw the engine cam, we're like, we have to have the engine cam. And some folks were like, nobody wants the engine cam? No, that doesn't show much. Chat, do you want to see the engine cam? Let us know in the chat if you are interested in engine bell shot. There we go. Thank you. During rocket operations. So you can see the vapors there, like Miles said.
You can also see that flicker of it's kind of changing color. That's jumping liquid or gas. So as we're running through that line, that bleed line, there's heat going to that. So most of it is gas, but as it gets more and more chilled in, you'll see that it'll be more and more liquid.
It gets dark, like it's a darker white line, I guess, right?
Denser, yeah.
Yeah, denser. That's the right word. Nice. All right, so we're continuing to go forward here. 12 minutes and 40 seconds around that. What do we have coming up next? Some groundside preparations, I think.
Yeah, so we have the kind of last setting for TTEB and spin start. Both of those systems are kind of inherently dangerous to both the rocket and the pad. So we wait for a very long time before we do this.
Right.
We're single seat to the vehicle now. So we've opened up all the valves except for the last isolation that is going to be the thing that actually sends TTEP to the vehicle or
to light the engines
or does the spin start. Yes, to start the engines. We should, I think, here see also there's some TVC wiggles that are going to happen on the first stage engines.
We may not be able to catch them, but we'll see if we do. I saw them this morning.
Yeah, basically what that is, we bleed in a long time ago. We did some bleed ins, and then there's a last check in terminal count to verify that everything's hunky dory. That what they're doing is they're moving them, and they're not actually looking to just see that they move. They're seeing that they move smoothly. Because the way that these TVC actuators work, they have something called a servo valve in them that if it ingests any gas, it'll kind of judder along.
It won't move smoothly.
Right. And that really affects your control system. You don't want to have that happening, so we need to make sure that we have a good bleed on the TVC.
Gotcha. So that's when they move back and forth. But we didn't mention the TVC on this rocket's really interesting. Sometimes the engines can wiggle, waggle, whatever term you want, in more than one direction. They can vector in more than one direction.
Right. So the Reaver engines only have a single axis thrust vector control.
They just move in one direction.
Each engine only has one axis, so you have pitch engines and yaw engines, which is kind of a common scheme in like Russian and Ukrainian rockets, but not so common in American rockets.
Okay.
But it's simpler. There's fewer parts. You don't have as many things to deal with. You don't have as many things that can break.
Yep.
So that's kind of typical Firefly direction.
Like each engine just hinges on one axis, and I imagine you have 4 engines. You probably have 2 pitch engines and 2 yaw engines?
Yep, and then they can all move together to roll the rocket.
Ah, gotcha. And they're probably at 90 degrees from each other, like the pitches and the yaws, and they makes sense. There's the engines again. I didn't see the TVC wiggle, but something you should probably check social if you're interested in TVC wiggles at some point. We'll see if we can get some of that out there for you. Coming up next is T-minus 10 minutes, just about 10 and a half right now. What do we have coming up after that?
So at T-minus 8, we're going to do the fuel pre-press. So for most of the day, there's been a small amount of blanket pressure on the fuel tank, just to make it easier to control. We don't have to worry about ingesting water or anything into the tank. So there's a little bit of pressure.
Right.
We're going to go up all the way to flight pressure on that tank at T-minus 8 minutes. So that takes maybe 3 minutes to do that. So we do it fairly slowly, just because we don't need to do it fast.
Why do you wait so long? Like, why don't you put it to full pressure before, earlier?
So and you'll kind of see this in all of these things, that there's a lot of stuff that's happening in these last 15 minutes, and it's all set up in time so that we don't put cycles on components that we don't want to cycle.
Ah.
So everything has some qualified number of cycles, and we want to make sure that we don't sort of erroneously put a cycle on something when we didn't need to, because if we're going to find a problem with something else that is, more critical, then we don't want to accidentally damage something.
Gotcha.
Just by using it.
So every time you send it up to flight pressures, I guess, right? You use up one of those cycles.
Yeah, it's called a lolly.
A lolly?
Yeah.
What?
We're putting a lolly on the tank.
Putting a lolly on the tank. All right, burning one of the cycles that you have there, and you don't want to do that too many times. You want to make sure everything else is good to go before you put a lolly on the
Yeah,
I don't know how to use that as a verb.
That's how you do it. Before you put a lolly on the tank, you don't want to do that. So the fuel tank actually has, it'll get pressed up first. The LOX tank doesn't get pressed up until T-minus 3 minutes. And part of that is that you can see where we're blowing that LOX out.
Yeah.
When we press that LOX tank up, you'll see this will pick up a lot. So you're going to be using more LOX through that bleed system, and you don't want to use too much LOX, so we wait until the very end.
Gotcha. And then after that, we're going to get into, after the fuel pre-press, I guess, begins. It takes some time to do that, right? We might get into stage 2, I think, huh?
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to be able to see this. I don't think we have a camera in the vehicle on this feed. We actually do have a camera in the vehicle that operators can see, and they're going to do the same thing as we did on the first stage, where we're going to look at the engine and see it move. It moves a lot less than the second stage, the first stage engines, because it's kind of
in the interstage.
It's in the interstage, so it doesn't have a lot of room.
So not visible from the outside of the rocket.
Yeah, but it'll do a little wiggle, and we'll just verify everything's good there, and just that's our last check of that system.
Gotcha. We got a big bunch of fog there all of a sudden, it looks like. All right, folks, we get this question a lot of the time, where you might be able to see today's launch from. We have a very interesting trajectory happening, but let's see in just a second if we can't give you a visibility map that shows where you might be able to see it. There we go. So there's Slick 2 over there at Vandenberg. That's the spreading T plus 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Down there in Los Angeles, you might look out over the ocean. Not sure if the clouds are going to be a problem out there for you. Up to San Francisco, you might be able to look south. Again, fighting the weather here. Not sure. If you can see it from Las Vegas, let us know on social media, please. Phoenix, good luck. But look out there today. If you're able to walk outside, you might get a chance to view the rocket heading out to its trajectory, carrying Flight 4. The Fly the Lightning mission, actually, for Lockheed Martin. Where are we at now? T-minus 7-ish minutes, I think? Yeah, there we go. Just crossed under T-minus. It actually says Stage 2 TVC wiggles on the screen. Nice. I like it. Also coming up here in 40 seconds or so, transitioning to internal power.
Right. So all day today, we've kept the batteries at charge, but we're not actually drawing power from the batteries on the vehicle. So we're just letting them sit there. They're doing their own thing, and we're feeding power to the vehicle from the ground. And we're now switching over. We're switching over now to have the power draw from the vehicle and feed to directly.
So you're still like topping it off, but the vehicle is providing the power.
We're still keeping it charged because we don't want to have to
drain
design
the
a system
battery
that is
carry more batteries.
To carry an extra 6 minutes of power. But
yeah, makes sense. So moving to internal power is an important part of the step here that should be coming up in just a few seconds. We're going to see some visual motion here. After that, we'll get the collar arms open.
Yeah, at the top of the rocket on the strong back, you can see up
there. You go. That's the view.
So those are going to open, and we keep them closed normally. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Good timing.
And then the strong back will retract a little bit after that once we're sure that the collar arms have done what they're supposed to do.
They are definitely retracting. It's almost like this is a carefully choreographed ballet of rocket machinery.
Almost.
And as you can see, folks, the collar arms have retracted, as they were just alluding to. Strong back retract will be coming shortly. We are about 5.5 minutes out from the launch of Alpha FLTA0004 Firefly Aerospace. And I want to thank again the collaboration between NASA Spaceflight and Firefly posting this feed out here so we can have an opportunity to watch this launch. It is always fun to watch the SpaceX launches, to watch to some degree as they work through the testing. Blue Origin, all the companies out there that have so much going on today. You see there's a view of the exhaust tunnel. What you see there is the liquid oxygen dissipating into the air, heats up, turns back into a gas. They are probably still in the process at this point of pre-chilling the engines. That's what it looks like, and that's you see the gaseous oxygen coming out the bottom, the vapor from the quick heating from the temperatures it's stored at. But as I was saying, it's always fun to watch the big launches. It's always fun to watch a Falcon 9, a Falcon Heavy. We've got a Falcon Heavy going off here in Florida. If it goes when it's supposed to on the 28th of this month, at around 7 o'clock, 1900 hours. Looking forward to that. I'm going to try to bring that one live on splits. Because from my front yard, it's about 60, 61 miles to the Cape. And it's a great show, especially for a heavy if the night's clear. But we enjoy watching these feeds. It is important to understand that as much as we all love SpaceX and Elon Musk and all the amazing things they're doing out there, there's a number of companies that are all out there filling a niche, trying to fill niches. In the case of Firefly, one of the big things is quick launch. As you heard earlier, if you were here, the commanding general out at Vandenberg had alluded to the quick launch and how important it is to be able to do that. And that's where Firefly will step in. We are nearing about 2 minutes and 45 seconds here to T0. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, we're nearing final commit. Some great views, and it's my understanding that again, it was a collaboration between Firefly Aerospace and NASA Spaceflight, and I keep saying it, but those guys did an awesome job in their placement, the camera angles, right down to the bells. It's just amazing work they're doing to bring this to the public. Looks like we've got a go from the launch director and the range ops manager, so we are good to go, barring anything coming up. We are at final commit, and we are at T-minus 145. I'm going to turn this over to the commentary for the last minute and a half. Enjoy.
$60 seconds. $45 seconds. Acknowledging alarms. 30 seconds.
On-CD1 vehicle has transitioned to autonomous mode.
20 seconds.
Stage 1 TVC motion looks nominal.
15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Firefly, fly the lightning. Great camera angles there, guys.
See the clouds.
That looks awesome.
Vehicle supersonic.
Vehicle's supersonic now.
Gone supersonic. Shot of the payload there.
So we're past max Q now as well.
I was waiting for that. So they got through max Q, big milestone. It's the maximum aerodynamic pressure encountered by the vehicle. From what we see and hear so far, the vehicle remains in a nominal status.
It's awesome, great.
See the plume start to expand there.
Beginner's view of the payload, we should be seeing fairings.
That's a Lightning engine, isn't it there?
Yep.
No, it looks like the engine. Absolutely.
That's Miko.
Okay, we've got main engine cut off. Stage separation.
Stage separation.
Look at that.
What a view.
Stage 2 ignition. Power looks nominal.
Yeah. Nice. You actually see the booster there. The second stage continuing on.
Yeah, we should see the.
So as you've seen, we've had stage separation. There's fairings being released since we're now past the point of them being needed. The damage that could be done to the payload due to aerodynamic friction is gone because we're in the vacuum of space. What a great shot coming from Firefly Aerospace. The shot is beautiful, the telemetry is great.
Must be one of the long-range trackers, getting it through the clouds on occasion. It's easier to see through the clouds from up here.
Yeah, yes, it is. And we're going to start seeing, you can see a little bit, that second stage engine nozzle extension is going to start glowing, which is normal. That
Okay.
It's radiatively cooled because there's nothing around, right? It's vacuum.
Because the black body radiation coming off, it started to glow red.
And so you have to deliberately make sure that nozzle extension has high emissivity, so it'll cool itself naturally.
It'll radiate off a lot of that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome shot of the payload there. Absolutely fantastic job on the feed today.
T plus 5 minutes, everything is
The
nominal.
sun in the background there.
As you just heard, everything at this point is nominal. Looking good. As was indicated, you see the bell starting to turn red, heating up. Doesn't require any kind of cooling because, of course, we're out in the vacuum of space. To look at it, you think not very much is going on, but there's a whole lot of thrust coming out of that engine. It looks like a view from one of the long-range tracking cameras. Never ceases to amaze me, these views that we get. something that myself, as a child of the Apollo age, we did not get to see back in those days. And to be part of this age where we get to watch multiple launches on almost a weekly basis, some on a daily basis, and to get views from the spacecraft this good, just amazes me every time. Look at that view.
We'll still be here with updates for you.
We're T plus 7 minutes and change. We're hearing everything looks nominal. Second stage continues to accelerate, carrying the payload. The electronically steerable antenna, the ESA, into its working orbit. Customer for this flight, again, is Lockheed Martin. And just an update on Starbase. Just got word that an overpressure OP notice has been issued for today. No status on road closure, but there is activity at the tank farm. The spacecraft lines are venting. I don't see anything as far as booster 10 being fueled. And I guess for now, the feed more going on as far as feed from the center, but as you can see, we're keeping an eye on NASA Spaceflight's feed from Boca Chica. We thank them again. I cannot thank them so much any more than I am for what they do for us as a community. They have really made spaceflight accessible to those who would have not been able to view some of these launches and be inspired by so much that's going on. But right now, there continues to be activity at the farm. Don't have anything as far as a potential T0, but for the test, it's a static fire test today. And again, when these two are stacked, you will have booster 10 and ship 28. Ship 28 was static fired a few days ago. Went well from what we're told. Thought is that we can get a static fire test on booster 10. Have that then mated with Starship 28, with ship 28. And then we're just waiting for FAA approval on licensing. And the word we had yesterday that I received was that they're looking at more than likely a first quarter 24 launch for test 3. Now, everything is subject to change, and God, you know it does. But it'll all come down to getting the final testing in place, mating the two together, the rocket and the booster together, getting FAA approval, and then scheduling a launch. And we find that those things happen sometimes a lot quicker than we anticipated they would. One thing I'd like to mention too, I'm wearing my Nashville Strong shirt today. Previously a native of Nashville. They had some rough times there a couple weeks ago. Tornadoes went through Nashville and some of the suburbs. And our thoughts and prayers go out to those folks up there and what they've gone through. We lived up there through a number of tornadoes. We were there for the 2010 flood. And it's a strong community, a great place. And I still have family up there. And we wish the Nashville and the surrounding areas, Mount Juliet, Lebanon, Franklin, all the burbs, especially the ones that were impacted by the recent storms. And we wish them a quick recovery. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to those folks and our previous neighbors. Well, for today, it looks like we have had a successful launch from Firefly Aerospace. We have two big events that we're going to try to cover today, if in fact they take place. One would be the potential static fire of Starship 10, Booster 10. And the other would be at roughly 2300 hours tonight, the launch of a Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral. That'll be taking another batch of Starlink satellites, version 2, into orbit. Again, that's scheduled for 2300 hours. Latest report we have, again, we're about 60 miles southeast of the base, and most recent weather estimates are looking at launch possibilities between 60 and 70%, and this is as of 12:46 right now. So we'll hold on that. My hope is to be able to bring that launch as well as a live feed from my property, run a split and show you what we see, being about an hour from the base. And I worked out there for a short period of time. It's a great place to go visit. It's a great place to see a launch. Would recommend it to anybody if you're in the Florida area and you are fortunate enough to be here on a launch day. And with so much going on, there's more of a chance of being here for a launch than not. But with that, I'm going to end the stream right now. Thank all of you for coming out. Thank all of you that come in later and watch the replay. Apologize for the glitches. We're working through the new studio and the system. I'm excited about the opportunity to bring some of this stuff to you. And we'll be back subject to launch this evening. And try to bring that Falcon 9 to you. And if there is any information that pops up about the static fire, we'll be sure to come in. I can always pop a stream real quick and bring that to you directly from the channel. Final thanks again to Firefly Aerospace and NASA Spaceflight for working together and bringing great coverage to the web, and something for us to be able to show and share and help with educating the public that are interested in learning and watching history continue to be made on a daily basis. Thanks again. This is Papa D coming to you from David Delivers Space. And we will see you either later this afternoon or this evening. Have a great day.